Hi, y'all. If I look like I've been through a rainstorm, I have. I was out early this morning. Well, about 7 o'clock. I had to leave and go to an appointment, and it wasn't really raining when I left. It was kind of mist and rain, but I had a real beautiful morning though to start out. Um, I went up what I call the back road, the mountain road, to get to where I was going, and it was so beautiful up the mountain road. The fog was laying low across the mountains, and I was just looking, as I was driving across the mountains, and the fog was just just laying low and misting across the mountains and the valley. And it was just so pretty. It was just like the fog just tiptoed in this morning while everybody was asleep, and it was just so beautiful. And then also, out of the corner of my eye, I thought I caught something black, but where the fog was laying low, I wasn't sure. And I kind of looked over, and there was a bear coming across the guardrail. It peeked his head over the guardrail and put a paw over, and then it saw me coming, and it scampered back into the woods and down over the hill. But it was such a nice sight going up that mountain road, and I was about the only one I saw on the road because it was so early in the morning. So I really enjoyed myself this morning. Even though I was going to an appointment, it was just so pretty. And like I said, it was just mist and rain at that time. But by the time I got on my appointment, it started pouring down rain. It was like raining cats and dogs. And so now, y'all, I had to go to Walmart. Now, it wasn't my choice. My husband, he asked me while I was out if I could pick something up. And of course, I was going to because, Walmart was up that way. And, Walmart's about almost 30-minute drive from our house. And so since I was up that way, of course, I was going to go by there and get what he needed. Now, it's been 5 days since I've been to Walmart. And, going twice in a week is just a little much. So I thought, okay, it's early in the morning and, it's probably not going to be that bad in there. And so I went in there and, got what he needed. And I thought, well, there was something I needed. I'm working on these sweater dresses that I got last year for $1. Yeah, another buck deal I got. And so I was checking out, and while I was checking out, now y'all know I've got another story to tell. There was this little lady in front of me, and so I had a couple things I was wanting, but I was wanting to put them in two different transactions. I was wanting to pay for them two different ways. Because I got a few more things than what I thought I was going to get, of course. But I was wanting, like I said, pay for them two different ways. So those little stick things that you can put to separate your transactions. So I put a couple things up there, and then I put the stick thing in between to separate my transactions. So that little lady, she got done with her transaction, and she was getting ready to leave. And why she did this, I don't know. She turned around and took that little stick thing and just moved it from my transactions and put it off to the side. I have no idea why she did that, because she was finished and she was ready to go, and she had nothing on the belt or anything. I mean, what kind of people do you encounter in Walmart anymore? But you just let things go. I mean, just get in there and get out and just whatever. But anyway, I looked at that cashier and I put my stick back in between the two, my two, different orders. And I told her, I said, I don't know why she did that. I said, these are two different orders. And she just laughed about it. Well, of course we laughed anyway, because, you just let things go. But that is my Walmart story for today. I think my channel is getting to be about, Walmart fiascos anymore. The wackadoodles that you find in Walmart. But anyway, so I got out of there, and it was just, like I said, it was still raining cats and dogs. And I wanted to go by the overlook and, take y'all by the overlook and let you see how pretty it was with the fog and everything. But it was just raining so hard. So that'll be another day. But, on the way home, it had slacked down some. And I stopped down at the waterfall at the end of the holler and took some photos and a short little video and stuff, because I was wanting to do some things with some poems and, just some little projects I'm working on. So I did get to stop there, and we have a railroad track that comes up through the hollow, and some people call it a hollow, I call it a holler, um, and everything. So I'm going to go back down there maybe in the next few days or a week or so, take some video and some photos because I'm trying to work on some poem projects now. So y'all can look out for that later. So I come home and I couldn't get in my door. My keys will not work on my door for some reason. And I stood there and tried for a good 10 minutes. And my husband was out in the garage. And didn't want to go out there and bother him, but I had to. So I walked out to the garage and I said, I need in the door. Can I have your keys? So he said, I'm getting ready to come in. So he had to come and let me in the door. And so he got my keys, and he couldn't even get in the door with my keys. So he gave me his key and put it on my key ring. And we don't know why my key wouldn't work, but I kept telling him for a long time though that I was having trouble getting the door, but nobody pays attention to me because I have a problem getting in and out of doors. They all laugh at me. My sister really laughs at me because I have a door phobia or something. And here comes a car. Like I said, every time I get out here, a car comes. Well, it's a truck actually. But anyway, I have this phobia of, going in and out of doors, being locked in. I guess the door locks or something or anything. And I'll just start going like this, trying to get in and out. And like I said, when I go to my sister's and everything, she usually keeps her door locked and stuff. And when I'm on the way out, I said, you're going to have to help me get out this door. Well, I couldn't get in my door. But this time, my key really wouldn't work. And he couldn't even get to work. But he kept working with it. And finally, he got it to work. But he said there was, something kind of going on with it. Finally, I got somebody to listen to me after probably about a year or so. So he took my key off and he gave me his that actually works smoothly. And can y'all believe another car is coming? I told y'all it's a conspiracy when I come out here and sit on this porch. Oh, anyway, so I decided, I got chilled and I made me a cup of tea, a warm tea, because I didn't have one this morning. I didn't have time. So I have been drinking my good warm tea. And I'm going to get a sip now. And it's that English breakfast tea that I told you about at that discount store for $1. And it is so good. But like I said, I'm working out or sitting out here. I got this no-sew hem stuff at Walmart. I was told you about, last year I got, they call them sweater dresses. They're like made out of sweater material, but they're actually dresses. And I had no intention on wearing them because I don't like sweater dresses because they come down about your knees. And I don't wear dresses like that. I wear dresses all the time. That's what I wear is dresses and skirts. But I love my denim skirts, and I wear them all the time. And I probably got about 20 to 30 denim skirts that I wear. And so I found those, and it was like late in the winter where they was, changing out their stock and putting out spring stuff. And I found them on a rack for $1. So in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm not going to wear those as dresses, but I could probably cut those off and make, blouses out of them, like sweaters for, next fall. So it's fall now, and finally I'm starting to work on them. And I've got them out here now. I just cut them off. And I've got, I think, 4 of them. So I cut those off and made sweaters out of them. So I've got a black one and a turtleneck. And I love turtlenecks. My husband says I smother him to death when I wear turtlenecks. And I told him, he said, you're killing me. I said, I'm not even bothering you. I said, how could I be killing you? So I've got a black one. I've got a green one. I really like this brown one because it's fall. It just says fall to me. And a gray one. So I can wear these all fall and winter. So I've cut them off to make sweaters out of them. But since they are sweaters, I need to do something with the hem because they will ravel. And I read that and I didn't want to stitch them up because it would take forever to stitch them up. And I don't want to go through that. So I read that you could use that soft This is called soft stretch, no hem or something on it. So I'm going to try it, but I got two different kind of hem adhesive. So I'm going to practice on the parts that I cut off to see what works best. And I'm going to pause this a minute because there is something coming up this railroad track. Now let me pause it. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. You know what? I don't know what is wrong with this hauler today. There is so much traffic, and usually there's nobody coming up here hardly. There was one of these railroad track guys that came up and checking the railroad track. So I turned the camera around so you could see the railroad tracks, and it's just across my house. And it's the woods are over there, and it is so beautiful over there. And up next to those woods is a creek. And I'm going to walk over there in the next few days and do a video over there and show you the creek. But you know, I've gabbed enough today anyway. Just tell you about my day. And would you believe here comes another vehicle? I had to pause it again, another vehicle. It is like Grand Central Station here today. So you know what? I'm going to wrap this vehicle up because everybody has come out of the woodwork today. And I just want to check in with you today. So it's Wednesday. So I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed rest of the week. And remember Friday, another story, Southern Short Story will drop. And if I don't talk to you before then, just remember that God loves you and so do I. Bye-bye.